Can we talk about the deal for Bersant Celina, which clearly didn't happen on deadline day? That's been in the works for some time. Can you maybe run us through what you're able to say about how that deal got done and how you've managed to get a player like that to come and play in League One?
It was the first one. It was the very first one. It was before I'd even met Paul Cook. I remember being at my home in the Midlands on a sunny day, being outside, and Paul was on the phone, and we were just starting to introduce ourselves to each other, and we both talked about Bersant Celina, and we think it was a realistic opportunity. I think you take a deep breath when you look at his history and where he is. So I spoke to his representatives, who I've known for many years, and laid out what we thought could be a plan. And my word, there were some twists and turns. Zoom calls with Bersant, Zoom calls with Bersant and his family, Zoom calls with Dijon, and I felt we were getting there. And then I had a text message from his representatives to say, frustrating news, disappointing news, Bersant had a heart problem. And the first reaction was, Christ, is he okay? Then the reality hits, that puts a stop on this. And I think both myself and his representatives felt, well, we're going to have to revisit this in January. And I said to the board, I said, look, it's disappointing. We are where we are. We'll revisit in January. But we stayed in touch. And we just kept asking how he was there any chance? And then the report started coming to us that actually that we could get him back fitter if he passed certain medical tests. So we revisited it. And it was just perseverance. You know, in fairness to Paul Cook, Paul had to persuade him that this was the right place for his football. This is how we played. This is where he would fit in. My job was the contract, the deal, the agent, the numbers, the club, the medical teams, and we just stayed with it. But I have to say, fair play to him. From that first conversation with Bersant, he was consistent. He wanted to come here. He wanted to come back. That gave us a glimmer of hope, and we just stayed with it, and we got it done.
Why do you think he did want to come back? Is it what happened here before? Is it what's going to happen here in the future?
I think it's a bit of everything. I think, look, what I've had to do. Sorry, that's wrong. What we've had to do with all of the players is we've had to sell them a vision for the football club. You know, let's be honest. This is where we're at. We're a League One football club, but this is the platform. This is the way we're going to play. This is the staff, and the staff have been a really important selling point in this. Is Paul and his backroom staff. I keep going back to it, Andy Rolls, Andy Costin, the performance staff, the way the players are going to be physically and mentally built. And you sell a vision to them. And that's part of what we have to do. We have to sell this football club. And I think when you put that to his previous attraction to the club and his previous affection for the club, all the stars lined up. But right until the end, I could not tell you this was going to get done. Mark Steed messaged me, I think 48 hours before the transfer window closed, and was the question mark was Bersant ? And I responded, please don't. I don't want to tell you. I don't want to jinx it. And he was great. He said, okay, well, tell me in the morning. And even getting the paperwork across the line in the end with people in different places was a real challenge. But you know, everyone at this football club, Luke, Stuart Hayton, his representatives, Dijon, the doctors, the lawyers, it was a myriad of people involved, and I'm so grateful to all of them for their professionalism, because it's brought him back.
I've seen the pictures of him walking across the car park towards you at the training ground. Was that the moment? Obviously you'd announced it, you knew he was here, but was that the moment where you were able to breathe on it maybe a little bit, when you actually had eyes on him?
Yeah, I think it was. We had a bizarre period of a couple of hours where I think Luke was trying to get hold of him, and one of the lawyers was trying to get hold of him to sign some documentation, and we couldn't get hold of him. Where Dijon was saying no, everything's fine. The agent was saying we couldn't find Bersant, and I think he was asleep. And even then you start to imagine shadows and see stories that don't anything. Oh God, someone's come in, someone's gazumped us. They're not telling us the full story, and it wasn't. He literally had gone for a lie down for a couple of hours. So yeah, when we had eyes on him, we were locking the big blue gates at the training ground behind him, and he was going nowhere.